Hi, Stephen here from Faded Crossings. I'm a little late on this upload because I have been sick as a dog recently. So here I am today. On Thursday instead of Wednesday, I just received the second dose of my vaccine shot, and it pretty much immobilized me for a whole day. Not to mention the fact that the injection site was just as sore as could be. But at any rate, here I am. And today I'd like to talk about one of the prime reasons for studying astrology. Some of us like to get into astrology because we want to understand ourselves. Others like to get into astrology for purely predictive purposes. They want to know whether or not assets will come and when, children will come and when and how many, whether or not someone will get married, how many spouses and when, and on and on and on. In other words, a lot of people get into astrology so that they can get an idea of what life has in store for them. But another reason to study astrology is to understand the motivations of a person, what the person needs to be happy on the most fundamental and basic level possible. Happiness, let us face it, is an elusive bird of paradise. And it is a very simple thing. And the difficulty to understand the happiness is sort of proportional to its simplicity. In other words, what we need to be happy is a very simple thing, but that does not mean that we always know what it is. And the message of today's video is that the happiness and motivation that a person experiences comes about through the elements, the 4 elements. Each element has a different set of core motivations associated with it. The water element and the earth element. These are both yin, feminine, passive types of elements. Their core motivations can be expressed in terms of needs. The water element needs emotional security, emotional safety, simply feeling that everything is going to be okay. Whereas the earth element is motivated by physical safety, material security, needing the material structures of life to be sound, to be safe, and that includes not just money, but also health. Health is very important. The fire and air signs are masculine yang signs, and they express their core motivations in terms of going for something. They pursue. They don't necessarily need. They pursue what they want. And the air signs, what they pursue is freedom. Freedom of expression, freedom of mobility, whereas the fire signs pursue power, which seems to be a very difficult thing. Like, you know, a fire dominant person is a megalomaniac? Like, I don't think so. That seems like a very rude thing to say. Nevertheless, it's true. Perhaps a gentler way to put it is that the fire signs are looking for influence over others. Now, we look at this, we determine these motivations based upon the balance of elements in the chart. So if someone has a predominantly watery chart, then this is someone who needs emotional security. But the best way to go about it is to start with the rising sign, because the rising sign is going to determine what those principal motivations and drives are. And you have to synthesize and mix things. So if a person, for instance, has Leo rising, but a lot of other planets in water, like the sun and the moon and other planets in water, then certainly the person is going to want power, is going to want influence over other people. But nevertheless, because of the predominance of water planets, they might be retiring, shy, timid sorts of people. So you have to mix things, always using the ascendant as the chief motivation. So fire signs rising want influence. Water signs rising want emotional safety. Air signs rising want a freedom of self-expression. Earth signs rising want material security. That's simple. That simple. Now, this is not, again, a foolproof method because, as I mentioned, you have to be able to mix the element of the ascendant with the other elements of the planets in the chart. And furthermore, different signs within an element want different things. So, for example, all of the fire signs want power and influence, but Aries is going to want that power by actually winning and beating out other people at things. Leo is going to want that power and influence by entertaining you. And Sagittarius is going to want that power and influence by uplifting you, educating you, and things along those lines. So the actual sign does make a difference. Nevertheless, all the signs within an element are unified by that element. And you can understand a person's principal motivations in life simply by looking at the element of the ascendant and mixing in the balance of the planets on top of that. Now, just because a person wants something, just because a person is motivated by a certain element, does not mean that he or she will be successful in having those motivations satisfied. But that will be a topic for a different video. Right now, I have to go vacuum. So I will see you next time. Until then, have a wonderful day, and if you want a reading, please feel free to message me at steven@fadedcrossings.com.